Good evening, Internet, and welcome back to Bloodstone, the Four Dads 5th edition D&D campaign set in the Forgotten Realms. As usual, I'm 8BitPonies. We've got a fantastic session planned for you this evening. Say hello to the gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Glad to have you all back with us this evening. Hope you've had a good week. You've seen some very minor changes to our visuals. As I mentioned last week, Drog is stepping away from the table for a short time to deal with some personal stuff, job related things. He's just not going to be able to play for a little while. So we've removed him from our roster, at least temporarily. Got some other minor things on the visuals side as well. I realized that I keep referring to the player on the far left as Simrith, and up until just recently, probably none of our viewers actually knew who that was, because your handles are never actually displayed anytime on the screen. It's always just your character names. So everybody knows Souls, everybody knows Zale, but whenever I'm talking about literally anybody else, that's not something that necessarily our audience would know. So every 10 seconds or so now, the names on the screen cycle over to your actual handles, so people get to know who you are as opposed to just who you're playing. So, in addition, let's see.
What episode are we on? 34?
35.
35.
34 was last week. I think we named that one Farewells.
That's a long time to not know people's names.
35 episodes. And almost 2 years we've been doing this now.
Woof.
That's crazy.
I'm kind of surprised nobody in chat was like, who the F is that?
Well, let's be honest. There's not really a whole lot of people out there just yet.
Yeah, we played one or two.
We're still in our infancy. And once we get into the next arc, I think that things will pick up, and then maybe viewership will too. We'll see how things go. We've spent almost 2 years in Heliogabalus, just kicking around the city, doing 35 episodes of almost nothing. And so,
I mean,
That's premium.
almost. I got friggin' much pages of notes here. Tell me nothing.
Yeah. Premium D&D is right. This is basically D&D, everybody.
we just play. We play our way. We have a slightly different style from the way that probably a lot of other tables play. Our game is very lore heavy, very role-playing heavy, very story heavy, not always very combat heavy. Though, just prior to us coming on stream, we did spend 6 episodes in a row, 6 2-hour episodes in a row on one battle. So,
This is true.
it does happen. Combat does happen. These particular adventurers tend to solve their problems in other ways rather than with swords, which is
Speak
striking.
for yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is striking considering that thoros'l's primary means of communication is through his blades.
But when we do, we do.
But when we do. Just a real quick call out. We will have 2 more streams this week. We'll have our Thursday and Friday streams. Our Thursday Area Apocalypse stream, our Friday Night Fights stream, but we will have no Saturday stream this week. I am hosting and running an in-person D&D game with Olives and some other in-person friends, so there will be no stream this coming Saturday, but we do hope that you come in and enjoy our Thursday and Friday streams, having a lot of fun with the Area Apocalypse and Friday Night Fights sessions or streams, respectively. What else? I'll be putting up the VOD here very, very shortly for our previous Saturday, which we played, which was a variety stream where we played Smite. Me and Souls got together and with a couple of our other viewers.
Just got destroyed.
Just got obliterated. It was
Just
so bad.
completely smoke showed.
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
It was a lot of fun, though. Woo!
We did win one. won one game, but we lost literally everything else.
When we brought friends to carry us.
That's true.
I was definitely not holding my own. It was fun. Good times.
We had a good time. The VOD for that and all of our other streams can be found on our YouTube channel. Stream Elements will post that here within the next few minutes if you're interested in going and checking out all of our VODs. My League of Legends VODs are a little bit out of date. They're a little bit behind. I'm working on trying to get all those caught up as well. So if you're looking for a particular stream, it's coming. It's they've been a little bit delayed.
Oh, that was weird.
Souls is doing Souls things. I'm not really sure what that is, but he's back. And
sorry,
we'll go ahead and get into tonight's session, assuming that none of you other gentlemen have anything that you want to bring up prior to kicking off the stream.
No, just to set the record straight, I have 70 pages of notes that three people have access to, and none of them add to.
I haven't added to it in over a year.
2 years. You haven't added to it in 2 years except for snarky remarks.
Whoa,
That's true. I do randomly put bullshit in there.
I would just like to say, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, the very last line is my addition.
Oh, there you go. Added today. Right after you said
Right
that.
now.
That was actually added a while ago.
One more time, you say. Nice. Actually, that whole bottom section is total crap. I need to get rid of that.
Say, peace out, fuckers. You're gonna die without me. Elenir out.
No joke. Are we gonna meet his new character tonight?
There's a possibility. Alanir Jr. Yeah, there is that possibility.
Alan Ganger or Doppelnir? Is it? Which one's gonna be? How are we gonna call this guy?
We will see. You guys are notoriously glacial with getting things moving on to the next plot elements, but we'll see if we are able to introduce the.
Been trying to get out of this city for 2 damn years.
Yeah, come on, man.
Actually, that's not true. I've been dragging ass on this pretty hard. There's so many things to do. We didn't even follow the thread on the paintings.
That's true. There's a lot of threads out there, and you guys are furiously trying to weave them together, and it's been a little bit of a mess. But no, we are all aboard the plot train. I am railroading us out of the city here very, very soon, so we will see.
I appreciate
what we can accomplish here in the next little bit. I can't guarantee that it will be tonight's session, but I am almost certain within the next session or two we'll be introducing a new character.
Gotcha. Are we? So last session, Alanir made his goodbyes and then headed out. Are we plot training to the 23rd?
Has Alanir said goodbye to anybody? Like, that's a good point. Didn't he just say goodbye to Elder? Did you leave without saying goodbye?
Well, let's get through our recap.
Not leaving till the 24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get through our recap, and then we'll dive right back into where we left things off, and you can decide just whether or not any of that matters. Anyway,
I'm gonna hit the restroom while you recap. I'm sorry. 1 second.
When last we left our intrepid group of adventurers, the party has finally come back together after splitting the party 4 different ways. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me 4 different things to have to worry about for 2 sessions. After splitting the party has come back together, only to then fracture once more, as Alanir has announced his intentions to leave the party and not accompany them to the War Council on the Moonsea. After a visit to Bloodstone City and the Grove of the White Tree of Bloodstone, Alanir has decided that his purpose, his focus needs to be on protecting the Bloodstone Kingdom, and more specifically the White Tree, from the threats that appear to be arraying against it. A supposed or rumored cult of Orcus operating in the Bloodstone lands once again, heralded perhaps by the strange undead creatures riding through the Bloodstone countryside, have put the druids of Alanir's circle on high alert, and they do believe that perhaps the White Tree of Bloodstone is a potential target in the near future for this cult. So they are sort of closing the circle, calling in all of their agents, Alanir included, and preparing to mount a defense of Bloodstone City and the White Tree itself. That doesn't excuse Eldric and the rest of his companions from their orders, or at least Eldric's orders, to proceed to the west, off to the great gray land of Thar, and the Moonsea city-state of Melvaunt, to represent the Bloodstone Kingdom and the Bloodstone Throne on a war council that is being held in that city, the City of Swords, the city of Melvaunt, in just a few short days. Given travel time, that means that Eldric will be departing the city of Heliogabalus within the next 2 or 3 days, catching a ship from the city of Mulmaster, and sailing to Melvaunt to take part in this war council. What he will find there, we still haven't entirely figured out yet, but it is this party's intention, unless I have misinterpreted something very seriously wrong, to disembark from Heliogabalus within the next couple of days, head to Mulmaster, and then catch that ship to Melvaunt to participate on that council.
That do seem to be the plan.
So where we left off, Alanir had just made his intentions known that he is planning on departing from Bloodstone, or I'm sorry, the city of Heliogabalus. Excuse me. The city of Heliogabalus in another day or two. He's in the process of gathering resources. He made a request of Eldric, and more importantly, Eldric's staff, in order to get some supplies. And then he's planning on heading back toward the Bloodstone Pass, and more specifically Bloodstone City, to help bolster the forces of the Warrenwood circle of druids that are intending to mount their defense in the Bloodstone Pass. I guess that's where we'll pick things up tonight. Eldric, in your very near future, you have a scheduled audience with a gentleman whose name I have already lost, Colonel Donnelly, at thoros'l, the thoros'l district, the military base here within the Bloodstone, or the city of Heliogabalus. That is tomorrow morning, and it was mentioned by Lady Fooling that you are intended to attend this meeting to handle some of the logistics and some of the details behind your departure and your arrival in Melvaunt in a few days' time, and that you should bring with you the members of your party that you intend to take along, as there are some concerns regarding them as well, but also that you should, if you have any requests for others beyond the handful of individuals that are already known to be members of your immediate inner circle, if you have anyone else that you would like to have included, or that you would like to request be included in your party, that you should either have those brought along or at least bring a list to that meeting so that they can be assembled.
When I find the fourth member of my entourage, does he or she need to bring their doppelganger card with them to get into the meeting?
Yeah.
Like, do they have to have that on them, or I've got one right here that might suffice. Would this
Yes,
would this help?
thank you.
Would
That
that
card
do
is
it? Would that get him
15
in?
The-
So old.
you don't need a membership card as long as you bring your doppelganger decoder ring. Like
Got
that's-
it. They know the secret handshake.
Right.
All right. Excellent. Noted.
So where we had left off is the end of the day. I believe the day is the 22nd.
22nd of Molemaster.
22nd of Molemaster is the city that you're headed
I'm sorry,
to.
that's where we're going. My bad. I had it written down as the month. Moving that now so that my notes don't look like I'm a dummy.
I have.
What is the actual month?
I'm missing a page of my notes or a piece of my notes. So I am opening that up right now.
Stole it, ate it, done.
It is the 10th month, so you are currently on the 22nd. You've just finished the 22nd, or you're in the closing moments of the 22nd of the 10th month. That is the month name. What is it? You should think as running a continuous campaign in the Forgotten Realms for now almost 16 years, I would know this.
I mean, I've been in a campaign for almost 16 years in the Forgotten Realms, and I've read 17 of their novels. I don't know what month it is.
We're in Marpenoth. 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 Also known as Leaffall.
Leaffall.
Yes. The 10th month of the year. And
So
it is the
their
22nd
season
day.
their season of fall is defined by leaf fall down. Got it.
We will have let's see, there is a scheduled in the calendar of Harptos, which is the standard 365-day calendar in the Forgotten Realms. There are 12 30-day months and 5 days that are considered holidays throughout the realms that don't fall on any specific or as part of any specific month. The next such holiday that is coming up is known as the Feast of the Moon, and it comes between the 10th. Nope, that's not right. The 11th and 12th month. I'm confirming that. Yeah. So
Fun fact: a lot of fantasy worlds have years that have consistent months because a lot of people are like me and can't remember what months have the 31st day.
right. And the Forgotten Realms is one of those. All of them
100%.
have, all of the months have 30 days. There are three weeks called 10 days that are made up of 10 days. So each month has 3 weeks. And then, like I said, there's the 5 days that fall on a date outside of the standard 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, still the 22nd of Marpenoth. You are intending to leave the city of Heliogopolis by the 27th, as you will be leaving the city of Molemaster by ship on the 28th, intending to arrive in Melvant before end of day on the 30th, so that the first of the next month, the first day of Uktar, the 11th month, is the first day of the series of meetings for the Moonsea Compact, the war council that you've been sent to join.
I'm sorry, on the 30th we're supposed to arrive where?
In the city of Melvant, the city of swords.
That's it. Excellent. Meetings start on Monday. Got it.
Effectively. So then, we have just completed the conversation between Eldrick and Alanir. Thoros'l and Makaria are off elsewhere in the manor doing their own things. Alanir has suggested that he will be leaving in 2 days, the 24th. Has asked for you to set Durbin Holy about gathering him some equipment, specifically potions or means by which he can exercise some true sight in order to try to hunt down some doppelgangers. So you don't have anything specific that you are meant to do until tomorrow morning. So how do you want to spend the rest of your evening? Or do we want to fast forward? Because we can absolutely do a smash cut to the morning meeting.
Eldrick is probably going to spend the evening, getting some dinner and looking through the giant tome that he has. I'm sure I'll have other questions that I'm not going to ask right now because I haven't thought of them yet. I was looking at the Niall Oaks thing earlier today and just a little bit ago, and I was like, I got to dig into that more. But that is, I don't have the intelligent questions right now. So we're gonna. He spent hours looking at the book, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, we can do that. thoros'l or Macaria or Alanir, any parting thoughts for the 22nd?
Alanir will probably go to each of the Macaria and thoros'l and kind of give them a similar conversation with Eldrick, like, hey, I'm leaving, this is why, and kind of go through the same spiel about the doppelgangers, and please think of ways to do various tests, because when I come back, you should treat me as such until you prove that I'm not.
Oh, don't you worry, buddy. I got you. I got your number.
And I'll apologize to thoros'l for leaving the duty of watching Macaria solely to him.
thoros'l, for his part, he'll be very understanding. I understand that you need to take care of this, your family, and it's important for you. And like in a very uncharacteristic showing of heartfeltness, thoros'l will say, the help that you've given me and my family is appreciated. Whenever Eldrick, after I've paid my debt to Eldrick, I'll find you and make sure I do right by you.
I appreciate that. You all are my wolf pack now. I would not roofie you.
That's both of those things are appreciated.
All right. In the quiet moments, with nothing else to do, for the first time in a little while, what is thoros'l doing? What is thoros'l thinking?
Oh no.
Oh man, thoros'l is ready to leave. Like, so he's ready to get out of this town. He's done sitting around thinking for the last week about all the events. But he'll spend his evening, as he has been honestly lately, just in quiet prayer to Shevarash, just listening and trying to not think about things. Specifically, like where his daughter might be at this time and what thoros'l might be up to. And he's still harboring. He knows that he needs to go back and take care of what Solemn was his name. Solemn,
yes,
the wizard that did it all. So he knows that creature is still on his list. Otherwise, he knows that he needs to take care of business with Eldrick first.
Understood. What about Macaria? After completing your thank you notes, I suppose, which would take a good portion of the day, preparing all of the necessary components and taking care of that in a very careful, very intentional manner. After the work is completed, you're essentially alone in your chambers, with the exception of Macaria, and you have the evening you're expected to accompany Eldrick to some meeting at a military base tomorrow, but you don't have anything else to do for the evening. Is there anything in particular that you want to do, or where's Makaria's head right now?
Makaria will, having gotten out of the habit from when she was in Candlekeep, will pull out from her bag one of her personal journals that's about history, and take some of the time to start writing down some of the things that have happened in Eldrick's manor, as if it was a historical fact of a shifting of time from her perspective. And almost as she leaps through it, it's like about her progress through certain points. So this is a moment that she starts writing to just kind of save for later.
Oh,
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Alanir. Any last thoughts prior to? I assume that given that you're not planning on going to the Moon Sea, you're also not intending to go to the meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. So, but you're still planning to reside here at the manor until the morning of the 24th, when you intend to leave.
That is correct.
Okay. So you've got one more day in Heliogopolis, effectively. Another 30 hours or so. What do you want to do with those?
Ooh. I'm assuming that the Oaks Manor actually has some sort of library.
It does.
So since he kind of suspects that his foes will be undead, he wants to basically go do some research as much as possible on basically the undead.
Okay.
Kind of some preparatory research before he leaves.
Interestingly enough, there is a fairly extensive collection of Sage's works on the undead in the Oaks library. It doesn't look like it gets a lot of use. It seems more like esoterica, something that was collected just for the sake of having it. But you were kind of hopeful, maybe you would find maybe at least some references to other materials that you could go and find in the greater city of Heliogopolis. But whether it's Madeline's or Titus's collection of books here in the fairly expansive family library, there is a lot of information here. Go ahead and do an investigation check for me.
Ooh. All right.
I love that the
And
Oaks
that's
are
probably
pulling
all
in.
she wrote there. Let's see what that investigation roll is. Ooh, come on.
Ooh.
We are a 16 total. That's pretty good.
All right. So you will uncover that there is a small section of the Oaks Library actually has what appears to be a full set of tomes from a fairly renowned monster hunter from the far-flung past, that specifically cataloged and provided first-hand accounts of battling and hunting undead creatures. With a 16, you'll note that there are most of the works are actually annotated. It looks as though someone has it. You can't tell who, because you don't necessarily know the handwriting, but inside these books, and it looks like the books themselves are pretty old, and so the writing in them might also be old. But there are annotations in several of the books, specifically around vampires. And it looks like someone added additional, like, has circled things, underlined certain things, and someone has been adding to these works specifically around the topic of vampires.
Interesting.
What is it in particular that you're looking for in these
So-
works?
So basically what he's looking for is information on weaknesses or how to fight various different undead creatures. Basically information that he would be able to take back to his grove and kind of, inform them better on how to fight different kinds of undead that we might end up being attacked by.
Okay. Well, so you being a native of the Bloodstone Kingdom, you would know that the military is specifically equipped with the knowledge to combat various types of undead creatures, as the Bloodstone Wars included a great deal of undead that were controlled by Orcus. So every soldier in the Bloodstone military has at least bare minimum training of handling silvered weapons. If they're not plentiful necessarily, they're not standard issue, but you do believe that you could potentially request or purchase silvered weapons within the city, or at least somewhere within the country. And that's the primary means of dealing with more incorporeal undead, and the types like vampires. But as far as specific weaknesses, you'll, with a 16 in your investigation, you'll get a pretty good set of tactics, pieces of information that you can notate down for yourself and take back to your group that will be helpful. I imagine Alanir just kind of poring over these tomes, with a stack of parchment and just taking notes.
Yeah.
Keeping those kind of bound together and taking those as, essentially, if this is what we're planning to fight, then everybody needs to know this. Let's make sure that we disseminate this information out to the rest of the group.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely his intent.
Well, that's something that you can spend a pretty good amount of time on. So then that means that we can now go ahead and fast forward to the following morning. We'll go straight to Eldrick and Macaria and thoros'l being ushered into a meeting chamber in the base, the Swordsail base, which is the capital of the Bloodstone military here in Heliogabalus. All of the Golden Helms and the Bloodstone Army regulars in Heliogabalus, or in and around the environs of Heliogabalus, are stationed here. The Navy is also stationed here. And so the military, it's a joint base for both the Army, the City Watch, and the Navy. And you're meeting with an Bloodstone Army colonel by the name of Mason Donnelly. He is already waiting with essentially just a stack of like ledgers and a pair of scribes that are helping to take down any notes that he would need to capture during his conversation with you, Eldrick, and it's primarily what he wants to get from you is what your specific needs are for an honor guard, number one, and then anything in addition to your preparation for departure that you have not already covered with Lady Fooling. The expectation is that you are going to be teleported by an all-seeing eye agent here within Heliogopolis. All-seeing eye is the Mages Guild that has been contracted to help with this particular endeavor. There is a teleportation circle that has already been established in the outpost of Molmentar, which is a newer city. Not exactly a city, more like a small town that's kind of the first stop on the big Bloodstone Pass that has recently opened up. The pass itself by now is closed. The weather's gotten bad enough, or the weather has started to turn cold enough that up in higher elevations it's not passable. Hence the need for teleportation. But you do have the ability to teleport from here to Molmentar, and then by horse, you and your retinue will travel to Molmaster and then catch your ship. So he's basically working out the specific details of your travel. This is what you're intended. This is what we expect of you. This is what you should expect. What do you need from us in order to do this thing?
Real quick, just to kind of phase through part of this. My understanding from the lady whose name I've completely forgotten that you said 37 seconds ago.
Fueling, the Grandmaster.
From Fueling. Yeah. Was that a military force of some unknown size had been sent before and was going to meet us there in Molmaster, or?
Correct. Well, they will meet you in Molmentar. That will be your advanced guard, your effectively your bodyguard. But if there's anything in particular, or anything in addition to your 10-man personal guard, which is already waiting for you in Molmentar, then that can be negotiated at this point.
All right, so real quick, that's 10 man. The advanced guard, what does that contain?
It's primarily logistics. The people that it's going to take to get you from point A to point B. The grooms, the people that are taking care of your transport, effectively.
All right, so I'm smelling a lot of not high-level clerics in this arrangement here. Got it.
If a cleric is requested, we can certainly attempt to assign one to you if you're requiring that sort of support.
Rules question for a second here, out of character,
Sure.
if you don't mind. Per rules as written, a spell scroll can only be used by somebody who has that spell on their spell list. They don't have to specifically know it, but it has to be in their class.
That's correct.
All right, so that means that Eldrick has no way to use sending himself. That's problematic. All right. Okay, so back to the requisitions. Eldrick doesn't need, and he'll tell Colonel Donnelly. Does anybody in the group know Colonel Donnelly from anything else? He wasn't part of that investigation that we totally effed up, was he?
No, you haven't. You know Donnelly just by reputation. He is a logistics officer. He's not. He hasn't ever crossed your path before.
Sure, he gets people from place A to place B with all the things they need.
Correct.
100% in. All right. Well, then, in that case, Eldrick is going to make some requests. He doesn't need personnel.
Okay.
Whatever personal guard and advanced logistics people he has is fantastic. Well, actually, that's a good question. So, sorry, can we do a flashback for a half second?
Sure.
All right. Before we came to this meeting, Eldrick would have absolutely talked to his people, and this would have included Alanir. Whether or not Alanir actually came to this meeting, the flashback definitely includes Alanir. So Eldrick would have gathered everybody around, probably this morning for breakfast after he was done chatting with his mom. And the question is, Fueling kind of implied that the kingdom was going to be fairly half-hearted at supporting a military effort. Now, whether or not she's right or not, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I made some snarky remarks about the king being unlikely to commit troops. So the question is, what is the group? Is there anything the group recommends that he try to get out of Colonel Donnelly for this trip?
thoros'l will speak up. I think that it would be in our best interest to take as little as possible, especially in the way of people, from him. We have no idea who or what would be traveling with us. So if he wants to give us goods and wagons and food or whatever, we're being teleported there, correct? As far as
We're
I'm
being
concerned,
teleported,
that's all we need. That and some horses. And let's be done with it.
Gotcha. He'll
I mean,
look to Alanir.
I think thoros'l has a point. You should think of it less of an army and more of like a strike force. You want smaller number of people who are better fitted, probably more mobile, so you can, if you have to do very coordinated and planned strikes rather than army type engagements.
We're just going to go talk, correct? You're just trying to plan, maybe help some people out. There's no reason to take a whole bunch of unknowns.
Well,
I've
I
done
agree with
plenty of
that.
talking in my time. At some point, action's going to happen.
Indeed. The question is, and he kind of looks to Makari in a, I'm gonna ask you here in a second, to put her on deck sort of thing. The question is, if we do end up committing to some sort of military action, which I suspect we will based on what I know, especially based on having contacted my father, if we don't take any additional troops with us, other than whatever it is Colonel Donnelly's going to have already requisitioned for us, then our contribution to the efforts of the War Council might just be those of us that go. Right? Because there's a very real scenario that the king, such as he is, gets my missive that says, "Hey, send some troops," and goes, "No, thank you." And I don't know if that's a problem per se, as well, Alanir, you're staying behind, but myself and thoros'l and Makari, if you endeavor to participate, are a fairly fierce force. But when there are tens of thousands on the field, that's only so effective. But I take your note about Strike Force, certainly. But the question, I think, is should I try to weasel a few troops out of him? Although, I think, thoros'l, you made the point that we don't know what we're bringing with us. It might not be an ally, necessarily, entirely. Macario, thoughts?
I'm with thoros'l on this one.
Okay.
There, in terms of people, the more we have around us, the less secure we would feel, even if they're a security force, or your personal guard or even soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest thing I could think of is if there's something we need to set up immediately to get there. So something safe or a place for us to maybe I can set up my sanctum so that at least we know that there's a location that is just for yourself, perhaps.
If Thoros'l will speak up on the heels of that. So I think maybe we shouldn't think of it in terms of people. If you phrase it as sending help in the logistics form, food, medical supplies, equipment, you could say that it's a gesture of a neighborly goodwill or whatever bullshit politicking you want to do. But then it's not people or doppelgangers or whatever that we're throwing into the mix, and you still bring aid. I would take 1,000 swords and shields, or a few wagons of medicine, if I were them, even if it's not soldiers. And I think you might have the clout to get that, at least partially.
That is. He kind of looks at thoros'l sideways, like thoros'l speaking a language he's never heard him speak before. That is surprisingly appropriate. I appreciate that counsel, absolutely.
In my time with the Devil's Own,
credit card.
in my time with the Devil's Own, it was often that sort of equipment that made all the difference. We could fight until we bled to death, but you had to have something to recover.
All right. Well,
Eldrick, given that your family deals primarily in, well, at least during wartime, your family essentially made your father made his name in supplying the army with arms and equipment. That's something you could probably fairly easily accomplish, and get them a really good rate.
Well, the question is how to get it there, right? If the pass is closed, then whatever we're taking with us on this teleport is likely. Unless, of course, I can find out that we have holdings overseas, which probably likely. I'm sure Titus has a Mole Master warehouse just sitting there with heaps of things. Anyway.
You're telling me that a newly fledgling nobility is going to use their family's business in order to sell it to the government now they belong to make a lot of money? No.
That tracks. 100% that tracks.
No, never happened. Never happened.
And we're in fantasy monarchy. That shit's totally legal.
Yes.
Absolutely is.
And maybe not even morally questionable.
I mean, it's basically how it's done, right?
It's how this is business, man. This is how you do it. You know a guy apparently who's a doppelganger. Anyway. All right. Does anybody else have any flashback stuff left? All right. Eldrick will turn to flash forward. Eldrick will turn to Colonel Donnelly, having remembered this conversation that he had with his very best friends in the world. I don't know. I think the personal guard of 10 men will be acceptable. I will want files on each of these people. As detailed as you can get them. The real hope is that I wouldn't want to commit more Bloodstone troops to an affair until we are aware of the details. But I suspect any resources that we can bring with us, weapons, medicines, food for protracted sieges, such as that is, any of that we can take with us would be what I would want to take with us, Colonel Donnelly. Understood,
Excellency. it's interesting that you have brought that forward, as the ship that will be carrying you to Melvaunt is primarily run through the Falling Star trading coaster, which
You don't say.
And we've actually already contracted with, your Lord Father, with a number of the things that you have requested. So that, I'm pleased to say, is already well in hand.
Well then,
His Majesty is hesitant to commit troops in a situation with so many unknowns. However, he is not deaf to the requests, and he's not so callous as to not wish to provide the aid that he can. Material goods are far more easily replaceable than lives.
Certainly. Well, and soldiers will only be so needed. I mean, I am taking thoros'l with me, so.
He kind of glances at thoros'l.
Eldrick just champions on through as if that statement stands for itself. I am glad to hear that the supplies are are already en route. The fact that my family's involved certainly doesn't hurt my feelings at all either. Well, in that case, then,
perhaps we can discuss then the necessary. He kind of glances at Macaria and thoros'l, the cultural aspects of your trip, Excellency.
Sure.
The Moonsea city-states are very different culturally than what you are likely used to here within the Bloodstone Kingdom. I have never been to Mulemaster myself, but there is a great deal of information that has come back through our dealings with the Mulmans. The city of Contracts, which is the nickname for the city of Mulemaster. The city of Contracts is it's a very different place.
Indeed.
I have a dossier here for you on the cultural aspects that you will need to be aware of to fully understand before heading to Mulemaster, before your arrival in Mulemaster. But the primary concerns, and he once again glances at both thoros'l and Macaria, is that non-human kind are not well received in the city. In fact,
visible scoff by thoros'l.
It is most regrettable that we find ourselves needing to utilize Mulemaster as a staging point for this effort, as your two companions, well, it is taking a great deal of negotiation with the High Blade of Mulemaster to even allow your companions to accompany you into the city. Non-human species within the city are considered. You can kind of looks that he feels extremely uncomfortable and will not look at thoros'l when he says this. That they are considered property, Excellency.
Yeah. This is a Mulemaster specific situation, or
Yes.
is this Moonsea entire?
Mulemaster specifically, their specific code of laws are not shared by all Moonsea city-states, but they are very strictly observed in Mulemaster and in the Mulmentar property as well.
And we expect to be in Mulemaster for
No longer than absolutely necessary, Excellency. The intention is that you ride through Mulemaster on the way to the docks. No more, but no less.
Interesting. This is not an insurmountable problem.
For that reason, we have provided you with a carriage, a closed carriage, that you and your companions will be traveling in once you reach the city. As long as it is known by the Blades of Molemaster that you will be ferrying 2 companions who are of considerable interest, we shall say, but the negotiations that we have made with the Blades ensures your privacy as long as you and your companions stay within your carriage and no additional laws are broken. Then there shouldn't be any issues with the unfortunate realities of working with these particular people.
How does the situation change if they are my property for the purposes of the traveling through Molemaster? Eldrick raises a hand because he knows thoros'l wants to say something.
Macaria bares her teeth.
I'm just asking the question.
Donnelly looks pretty flustered at that, and he glances over at Macaria and thoros'l. He said, "That was, Excellency. We would never have considered. Your esteemed companions are heroes in the Bloodstone Kingdom. We would never have even entertained that as a possibility. That is.
And while I, as a paladin of Ilmater, also would not generally wish to have that to be a thing, my companions have told their fair share of tall tales in their time. So how does it change the situation if they are perceived as property?
Well, if your companions were to be made your property for all intents and purposes, it would. He kind of drops his hand or his chin into his hand, and he's thinking about it. He continually glances over at Macaria and thoros'l as he does, and he's not sweating bullets, but he definitely looks like he does not want to be having this conversation. It could that could work. That could ease some of the passage, I suppose, or. But we've already negotiated.
thoros'l will interrupt. He's tired of the bullshitting. If this upstanding paladin of Ilmater wants to perpetrate this lie,
I'm not suggesting perpetrating a lie. I'm talking about getting legit paperwork.
Sure.
That can get us through a hostile country without you two having to worry about getting effed with.
Would I be able to be armed if I were considered his property?
Absolutely not. No.
Oh,
then that's not an option.
That changes the plan. Yeah, can't separate this one from his swords at all. So
I'm not going through a country that considers me property without being fully and willfully armed.
No, it's certainly understandable.
So we'll set
Why
that
not?
as a possibility aside then, and move on to the next point. Then, Excellency, there is a very strict, very controlled ban on the use of even the casual use of magic within the city or the city's properties. The cloaks.
Man, Colonel Donnelly, you are just. I appreciate your well-studiedness and your points of detail, but my friend, you are not making my day well. Sorry for the interruption. Please continue.
Believe me, Excellency, if there was any other way that we could make this work that didn't require movement through Molemaster, we would absolutely have considered it. But the timetable being what it is, and the natural considerations there's simply no other way that we can spirit you from here to Melvant in less than a week or less than a 10-day without leveraging our assets within Mulemaster. It simply cannot be done.
Certainly. I apologize for the interruption. You were saying magic is frowned upon?
The Mulmans have a very very strict control of the use of the arcane arts within their city. They have an organization of spellcasters known as the Cloaks that closely monitor the use of magic, and it is considered a grave offense to their laws utilizing any kind of magic without a license. And we cannot, given the hoops that one would have to jump through in order to acquire such a license, we don't have that ability. So we're simply providing you with the necessary information so that, and he glances at Macaria again, you have the information you require to move through the city without attracting more attention than necessary, or without creating an incident between the Bloodstone Kingdom and the city of Contracts.
No, certainly.
So just to put it bluntly, we stay in the carriage, we board the ship, and we leave, and that's the end of it.
He bobs his head very quickly. That is what we have. That is what we have planned for. Yes, you enter the city, you travel through the city in the carriage that we have provided. That carriage will ferry you directly to the docks. You will step out from the carriage directly onto the docks and move to the ship. Once outside of Mulemaster's waters, then you are free of any of the limitations that we shall say that we would put on you, or that the Mulmans would put on your band. There are no such restrictions of which we are aware in your eventual destination in Melvant.
The government, the people that police this, they're aware that Eldrick is bringing us through on this carriage, correct?
We have contracted at great cost with the High Blade of Mulemaster to allow a one-time passage as long as no unforeseen disturbances occur during your travel. That is correct.
So then we are to assume that if we are harassed, attacked, or otherwise disturbed on our carriage, it is not an affiliation to the High Blade. That it's, in fact...
That is correct. And you have to understand, Master thoros'l, the City of Contracts, their bureaucracy is absolute. Everything within the city is controlled via contract. Everything... They would as soon burn the city to the ground as go back on a compact or a contract like that. Once money has changed hands, once gold has been transferred and signatures have been applied, we can say with almost absolute certainty that if you were to be harassed in the city of Mulemaster, then it would be unsanctioned by the government, by the Blades, or the Cloaks. And in such a case, you would be expected or would be well within your rights to defend yourself.
And we could assume then that, as per the contract, the Mulemaster would side with us in that.
Correct. They would be just as likely to... yes, that is correct. They would be just as likely to side with you over anyone who would attempt to break the compact that we have made with him. Yes.
Eldrick's gonna kind of pipe up. Well, in that case, then, Colonel Donnelly, I'm going to need the previously asked for dossiers for the personal guard, the 10 personal guard. I'm going to need a copy, an official copy of this Melvant contract, because I am not traveling through their territory without that. Because that will be a problem.
He slides a stack of documents across his table, already collated and put together for you on all of the things that you've requested.
Knows his stuff.
He knows what he knows who butters his bread.
Way better than Spy Song. Way better.
I was gonna say this guy can actually get his travel papers.
Papers.
This guy's legit. What the heck? Yeah, no, this part of the branch, this branch actually works. Excellent. All right, and then a copy of the contract, preferably before leaving, and also as many scrolls of sending as you can get me, preferably.
I will speak with our contact with the Eye and determine if that can be provided.
I mean, we're going to need at least 2 to contact the kingdom and say, "Hey, bros." Just contact the kingdom and say, "Hey, we need to send troops." Also, I'm going to need the name of who I should be contacting in that instance. Once the who is my report to be given to? That was a bit.
I have it on authority. He starts kind of leafing through papers here. He says, yes, I'm supposed to give you this." He slides a small box across the table. He says,
There we go.
This is, I believe, and he opens up the box, and it's a smooth, looks like a smooth piece of like obsidian with runes carved into it, and the runes are silvered. It says, "This is a sending stone. I have it on authority," and he pulls out, the requisite piece of paper that explains it. He says, "This will allow you to he reads it over. Oh yes, you will be communicating directly with the Grand Master, it seems. Once per 24-hour period, you may send a message of up to 25 words and receive one in response."
The Grand Master being Fueling? Or am I...
Yes, Your Excellency. Lady Fueling is personally overseeing this undertaking from our side.
Well, that is certainly good to know. Excellent. This will be most acceptable.
Now, on the matter of your arrival in Melvant, he kind of pulls at his collar a little bit. Melvant has its own, shall we say, eccentricities. Your arrival in Melvant has already been taken care of. Your accommodations within the city, we have made arrangements for you to be housed temporarily in the foreign quarter, but during the compact, during the council, you are being, and he starts flipping through pages again, you are being hosted, you and your retinue will be hosted at the Asbereth, which is the sort of seat of government there in the City of Swords. It's a fortress of some type. They don't have a ruling. They're not a monarchy. They're managed by a council of nobility, but it's their governmental seat. It's called the Asbereth. You and yours will be housed there from the as the conclave commences. We would suggest that you keep to the locations within the City of Swords that are pre-scouted. The foreign quarter is in the southeast quarter of the city. The Asbereth is in the northeast. once again, the Moonsea city-states have their own sets of laws and their own, shall we say, flavor of morality. That often runs counter to what we hold dear to here in the Bloodstone Kingdom. For instance, Melvaunt is one of several Moonsea city-states that not only condone, but actively participate in the slave trade. He just kind of lets that float. Recall that you are an envoy of the Bloodstone government, and while it may be abhorrent for those of us here in with Bloodstone values,
I understand, Colonel Donnelly. It is best that I do not see things that I do not want to see. I understand.
He nods, and tension runs off of him in rivulets. He doesn't want to be having this conversation very clearly, but now that he's had it, and you have accepted what he has to say, he seems a lot more relaxed. He'll slide another couple of dossiers across the table to you, providing you more information about the city of Melvaunt, what areas are safe and what areas are less than. And
I assume it has an annotated map. Don't go here. Stay away from this, you silly paladin. All that.
Basically, yeah.
Excellent.
Right. Do you have any additional questions for me?
I assume you vouch for the 10 names in this pile here?
Well, these were provided to me by my superior, but they are known to be well-decorated and loyal servants of the crown. As he's saying that, the door to the meeting room that you're currently in opens, and Sebastian Killian walks in. And he steps in, and Donnelly is clearly not expecting the interruption, and he looks to see Killian come in, and he pales. And Killian says, "Donnelly, give us the room."
Oh.
Donnelly gets up, and without a word, leaves.
All right. Well, there we go. Gotcha.
And Killian walks over to the table, takes Donnelly's seat, and sits in a very similar posture to how he has addressed you in the past. Says, "I will be sending one of my own with you, a man you already know, Painbearer Bogdan, will be traveling alongside you. He will essentially be your, shall we say, your second in the negotiations. He represents our interests."
Is this the guy that I had a Zone of Truth off with?
Yes.
Fantastic. Eldrick is already very excited about this. This is the best scenario. Eldrick will smile. That sounds fantastic.
In addition, you will be, upon reaching the city of Melvaunt, you will be contacted by our man, one Magnuson Nightingale, who will serve as your go-between in the city of Melvaunt. He is a deep cover Bloodstone agent, formerly of Spy Song. Now he works for us.
And I'm sorry, he's supposed to help us how?
He's your eyes and ears in the city. He has been stationed in the Moonsea for quite some time. He is a little on the eccentric side, but he's a good man. He has our trust, and so he should have yours as well.
there's no worry that he'll give him one of those like knowing looks, compromised.
I have no reason to believe that Magnuson has been compromised. He's been far enough removed from politics here within the Bloodstone Kingdom for long enough, and quite honestly, no one else wants him. He
Okay.
he belongs to me because he is a useful tool. And let's just say, if I was concerned about doppelgangers with Magnuson, he's very easily tested. We'll just put it that way.
Understood.
In addition, this information does not leave this room, Excellency. But
Absolutely.
we have quietly been moving forces for the last several months, so that if you deem it necessary to commit militarily to this conclave, a company of soldiers is already waiting for you in the Thar area.
Nice.
This is outside of the standard hierarchy of the Bloodstone Army. This stays between you and me and the Lord Commander. He's talking about the Lord Commander of the Bloodstone Army.
Mm-hmm.
His Majesty is not aware, and need
How
not
do
be.
How will I contact this company, or will they find me? I've been given
through Magnuson.
this. Understood. Well then, you have single-handedly solved all of the problems I had with my previous meeting, save one. But that's probably a conversation for Donnelly, unless you just happen to have a copy of the Melvant contract on you.
Oh, you actually already have that. The Melvant contract.
Yeah, he had that. That guy already had it.
He had that ready for you. The Mulemaster contract. Yes.
Oh yes, sorry.
I've reviewed the reports that have come in from Impilter and the information that Fooling has, and I want you to understand, Eldrick, that we consider what is happening in the land of Thar currently a credible threat. I have spoken at length with Lord Halenbrar and have reviewed his information, and he has eyewitness accounts of what's happening there. It looks dire. For the good of all of the Moonsea cities and any civilized settlements within that region, this conclave, this compact needs to succeed. Whatever it is that you believe needs to be done during this meeting, you have full authority to commit what you can to ensuring that this situation is contained. Reach out through Fooling if you require additional support, additional aid, and we will get it to you as soon as we possibly can. But understand that the company that you have is what you will be working with for some time. We've moved as much as we can outside of the Crown's notice. We won't be able to do more without Crown support, and we don't expect that.
Well, I suspect it's more than I thought I had 5 minutes ago. We will make do. The support is absolutely appreciated.
On a slightly different note, Impilter sent... You already are aware that Impilter sent a small force into Thar some months ago, and you know what they were seeking.
Indeed.
That is your primary goal. Whatever else happens within the city or within the region of Thar, locating and securing that object is your primary focus.
Out of character, they were, I'm trying to remember, they were sent to get a stone, right?
Correct.
The one that fell, the fallen star, basically.
Correct.
Got it. Eldrick will nod. Certainly.
And on that note, you currently have 2 such relics in your possession.
This is something he's saying to me?
He's not asking, he's telling. You currently have 2 such relics in your possession.
Oh, Eldrick nods. Mm-hmm. Yep. By the will of Ilmater.
What is your intention? Do you intend to carry those with you into Thar?
Well, I'd rather not.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
But the question is, what are my options? Because I'm certainly not going to leave them in the manor, especially knowing who knows that I have them. I'm certainly hesitant to leave them in the hands of the crown. And no offense to you, the crown has at least some sway over your organization.
That
which
is a regrettable.
is not a statement. Which is not a statement about you, but there are a lot of people under you that would have to be involved.
That is a regrettable truth, and with the importance of those objects, with the danger inherent in those objects, there is no one in my organization that I would trust with that sort of mission. It is an unfortunate truth that those objects are safest in your care. The fact that you are traveling into a potential war zone doesn't do a lot to assuage my worries.
You and me both, friend.
Nor does the potential addition of a third, given the issues you've had recently with the objects you carry.
Well, getting those issues as far away from Helio is for the best, I suspect.
I'm glad that you and I agree on that.
We do, very much so. So yes, I will be taking them with me.
He nods. You can tell that he's not happy about it. He understands that